Well, good morning, good evening, good night, good grief. My name is Will Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. So we are thrilled that you are here with us. I got one of these things where I just have to tell you about. Found this piece of research on Pew Research, and Pew's one of those research firms that you can kind of throw some credence behind, and it's kind of a jump in what's happened politically, people's affiliation politically. I know what we see on social media. I mean, if we just look at social media, it seems like everybody's just a lunatic leftist, but that's not really how it's working out. So we're going to go to a piece, and some people will say that we are cherry picking. I don't really think that's the case. It's interesting, for me, it's interesting. Let's see if we can. There we go. We're gonna try. There we go. We got audio. Do we still have audio here? I'm back to using OBS, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not a fan. Okay, there you go. If we look at the breakdown of what's good for Republicans and what's bad for Republicans, or look at it, this is where Republicans are strong, and here's where they need to start doing what I always say, picking off a few here or there. It means increasing the percentage by just a few points here or there. All right, let's go ahead and start with something good first. With 17, if you see on the left-hand side of every category, it is the percent of the electorate. And at 17% of the electorate are white evangelical Protestants. And as far as they self-identify, about 85% of them are Republican or lean Republican. That is a demographic that is locked up by Republicans for sure. Now there can always be can always be some improvement, but right now at 85% to 14%, that's pretty doggone good. With only 1% of the electorate, Mormons, 3/4 of them either are Republican or lean Republican, and I think that's probably thanks, and I'm not exaggerating. I really think that's probably thanks to Glenn Beck. Now, the big chunk are 38% of the electorate are white voters without a college degree. 63% of them are Republican or lean Republican. That's a pretty big number, but it needs to be better because a third of them are Democrats or lean Democrats. And they're probably unions and that level. So blue collar workers that Republicans are just missing for whatever reason, and probably due to tradition. All right, let's go on to at 11%, veterans overwhelmingly are Republican or lean Republican at 63 to 35. Again, we can do better. This is something that I talk about. I talk about this at every election. I talk about this, and I don't know, frankly, if anybody's listening. I don't know if anybody's listening. It's the maps that we see. We see the map, and it's like red from coast to coast, and these little blotches of blue. The problem is not that we see this sea of red and we go, country is red, country's Republican, the country's conservative. The problem is that only a percentage, only 14% of those places that are not the population centers, that are rural, 60% of them are indeed Republican or lean Republican. But it's only 14% of the electorate. It's not a very big, and if you spread out over the country, I mean, it diffuses immediately, right? The whole idea, it diffuses. So, although an important segment of 14% of the electorate, and I don't think that 60% is a big enough percent. It needs to be higher. It needs to be at least 70 or 75%. Be that as it may, with a third of the electorate being white men, Republicans, or 60% of them are Republican or lean Republican. That needs to be a bigger number. And for people who were born in the 1940s, which is still 10%, of the electorate, 54% lean Republican or are Republican, and 43% are Democrat or lean Democrat. That, for me, is closer to a toss-up. The people who are born in their 40s. Now, what does that mean if you're born in your 40s? How old are you now? You are probably in your 80s now, right? Is that true? Yeah, let's look. If you were born in 1940, let's see, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 2000, 2010, 2020, you are in your 80s. And people in their 80s are 10% of the electorate. And it's pretty much a dead heat. I think 43 to 54 at that age group is a dead heat. Now, here are areas of opportunity that Republicans and conservatives need to start ticking away at. The biggest one, the one that's right in our face, is 21%. And this number is growing. This is women with college degrees. Now, we also know that women, or people who end up with college degrees, are unfortunately subject to everything that college has to offer. All the indoctrination. And I really do, and this might sound terrible to you, I think that women are more susceptible to that sort of indoctrination. Although we've seen around the world men get glassy-eyed and then go do horrible things. I am of the mind that women have the same problem. They get glassy-eyed, they fall in love with a concept, romanticize it, and they hold on to it. And I think that's kind of what happened. I think that's kind of what's happened. Let's look at this again. With 21% of women of the electorate are women with a degree, 60% of them are Democrat or lean Democrat. Not surprising. At the same percentage, 60 to 37, 29% of the electorate, nearly a third, is what we're considering urban. Doesn't necessarily mean black. We're gonna parse that out here in a little bit, and I'm sure that includes black. 60 to 37 lean Democrat, as opposed to a Republican or lean Republican. 13% of the population is Hispanic of some sort, and 61% of them still lean Democrat. That's where you have to get in there and start chipping away. And you can't chip away at the big picture, you have to chip away at the small picture, you have to chip away at the local level. And if I've said it once, I've said it a million times, and I'm going to say it again. You have to start at home. You have to get out in them there streets, right out there in them streets, and start talking to people one-on-one, local. Change what's happening at the local level. Look at your city council. Look at your mayor's office. Look at your county commission. What's happening locally? Are you living in Democrat hellholes like me? or is it more balanced? Where I live, there are seven. There are seven county commissioners and there's seven city council members. Um, all and the city council is supposed to be nonpartisan. Whoosh, really? All of them are Democrats. Every single one of them. And the mayor's a Democrat. County commission, there are 4 Republicans and 3 Democrats. Now the thing is, with 4 Republicans, Republicans sort of run the joint. If they want something stopped, it's easy to stop. If they want something passed, it's easy to pass. Simple majority. 4 votes wins. It sort of acts as a prophylactic against all the craziness that happens in the city, kind of, sort of. Right? Start locally if you want to start chipping away at these numbers. If you want to start chipping away at these numbers, you're going to have to start locally. All right. People born in the 90s, 62% of them identify as Democrat or lean Democrat. Born in the 90s. How old does that make those people? Does that put them in their 40s? Or 30s? Let's see, 30. Yeah. That puts them in their 30s. Democrat or lean Democrat. And I think that's starting to change, but it needs to continue to change. That trend from moving the 30-somethings out of the Democrat column to the Republican column, or the progressive column to the conservative column, but that needs to happen a family at a time. But it gets worse. People who are not religiously affiliated, 70% of them identify as Democrat or lean Democrat, and probably a great number of them identify as Furbies. I don't know that. But that's 26% of the electorate. 26%. That's a big number. They have not heard the message of liberty. And without hearing that message from you, they will continue to strangle themselves in the progressive Democrat mantras. If they're not religiously affiliated, I'm sure that hearing the good news, the gospel of freedom and liberty, can make a difference. Now, with 11% of the population, of the electorate, are black people, 83% are Democrat or lean Democrat. That number is down for them. With only 12% leaning Republican or are Republican, or conservative and not Democrat. How about that? Conservative and not progressive. And the farther the left goes to the left, the more black people they leave behind, the more of the religiously unaffiliated they leave behind, more of and I missed Asian. You see that at 4%. Asian people, for some reason, 63% of them identify as Democrat or lean Democrat. So it's time to start chipping away at these numbers. These are all on the bottom. These are all I think as opportunities. Not while not doing due diligence and making sure that you are talking effectively to the Democratic what is it, the areas, the people that you are communicating with well. You have to keep that up. Demographic, that's the word. But you need to open up the door to the new demographics, the ones that you're not doing well in. You can't be like John McCain, who says, "Well, I've never even sent an email." While the other side has a website that's banging and sending out kits for people to have Obama parties. If you go to the website and sign up, and the Republicans have a candidate who admits to had never have sent an email. Anybody remember that? God, that was so frustrating. That was so frustrating. Anyway, I just wanted to get that to you. Let's see here if I can figure out how to. Apparently, I cannot. OBS is much different, and I have to switch back to OBS because the trial ran out on the vMix, and with the trial, and they wanted $350. So that we all knew that was not going to be something that happened, right? So in any case, we got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So my friends, until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sake, y'all take care of yourself. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report. Peace. في أكمله